Hi, thanks for stopping by. I don't know about you, but when I have photos that clearly tell me what colors I need to use, I get super excited. That and a great sketch, and I'm halfway done with my layout. Let me bring in the pictures that I'm using today. These are pictures from a room makeover that my daughter and I did for my granddaughter. And you can see here exactly why I am going with a pink and gray color scheme. She wanted a pink wall, and it's a little hard to see, but she picked out basically a Pepto-Bismol pink color. So we did an accent wall, so it's only one wall, and then we kept the rest of the walls nice and neutral. But we also came in and we really worked hard to make sure we could pick up some secondhand items so that, we can reuse and great for the environment. I'm very much into environmentalism. So the desk, my daughter and I repainted in gray. The lamp stand, we did buy the lamp shade. This little shelf here, we repainted that as well. And we also were very lucky. We picked everything up at Goodwill and we got this amazing canopy. I think we spent $10 on the canopy, which was like a lot compared to the other things we bought. But there were only a few things we actually did have to purchase. She already had her little cube set up there. We bought the mirror, the lampshade, and this cute little pink chair. So I was so excited that it just made it so easy for me to pick out colors until I realized I don't have a ton of pink pattern paper. In fact, this was the only one I could find, and I literally only have one sheet. So based on this sketch that I have, which is from Erin from Crafty Concepts with Erin, um, I'm going to be keeping the sketch very similar on the right. I'm not going to have quite as many photos, but I'm going to keep the concept quite the same. But on the left here, I definitely am going to change it up a bit. My photos, I have one portrait, one landscape, so that's going to be a little bit different. And since I only have this one sheet of pink gingham paper, I'm going to have to get a little creative with it. So I'm going to change it up just a bit. So let me clear these couple things out. I'm going to be starting with a base. This is Pretty in Pink cardstock. This is the two-tone, so we have the lighter side, but we are going to be working here on the darker side. I'm just going to pull this back in. I'm going to start here with the right because I'm going to keep it pretty similar. So I'm thinking I'm going to take my gingham paper and it's going to run, instead of being somewhat of a frame, I'm going to run it completely from left to right. My photos, when I measure them out, they will add up to 8 inches. So I'm going to cut this at a 9-inch, gives me a little bit of a border above and a little bit of spacing in between. So I'm going to put her bed there on the left, along with this one. Those are my two 4x6s that are landscape and portrait. And then I am going to bring in these cute little, this is a 4x6, and then these are 3x4s. So I'm just going to, I think, line these up. I want to put this one down here on the bottom, and then I'm going to line these ones up across the top. So it's going to give me a little tiny border on the top, a little space in between, and then a small border in the bottom. I'm going to cut this off probably then at 3 inches, and instead of having this block in the center, I'm going to take that 3 inches and then run it down here the left side, and then have the Pretty in Pink. I'm going to bring my title here instead of through the center. So let me just cut these papers down real quick and let's get those laid out. So I cut down that pink gingham paper and I inked up the edges in the pretty in pink. And I found in my stash this Sizzix die. It's from a long time ago. And I don't know if I've ever used it. So I just really like this little scalloped edge piece. So I cut it out in the white. And what I was thinking is I think I'm pop this up just a little bit higher up, but I think I'm going to run it along the bottom of this one here. It is just ever so slightly short, like a quarter of an inch. I'm going to put my embellishments here, so I'll probably cut it and scooch it all the way over, and you'll never see the cut. On this side, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put it over here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I might try to cut out just a very small piece to make it look like it is another repeat. I'm not quite sure, but I am putting a cluster here, so if that hides it, I will cut it and then separate it. So as you can see, obviously we have the gray, which we painted the desk in, and the light shade. And so what I'm thinking is, like I said, I'm going to be running my title down here. I think this picture is going to come over might come over that way. I'm not sure. But basically like this. I am going to be using one of the party banner dies. And this is where I'm going to put my title. I'm going to ink up the edges because I like inked edges. I know I inked it here and then I covered it up, so maybe I'll just pull this one down below so you can still see the inking. Same on this side. So I'll ink up those edges just to give them a little bit of definition. But what I wanted to show you is that this banner is not as long as it is there. Let me pull this out super quick and pull out my banner. I got a couple of extras living in there. And I used this one right here. So let me just pull it out. And you can see that the banner itself is shorter. So let me show you really quick how I cut the banners so that I can make them a longer length or a length that I want. I'm just going to bring in, let me scooch this over out of the way and bring in, I have a small die cut machine, stuff living on it. And I'm just going to bring in one that just not the same. This is just a smaller one, so I could use this machine here. And what you want to do to be able to do this is you're going to place your die here on the paper you're going to cut. So I'm going to do my banner tails, and what you want to do, line this up well. Okay, just like that. You want to make sure that the end is hanging over your plates, because if they're not on the plates, they will not cut. So I'm going to slide in my top plate here, and we're just going to run it through the die cut machine real quick. Yep, I got it in there. Excuse any wobble. And I'm actually not even going to go all the way through. Come back, pull it out, and you can see that it's made a partial cut. I like to tear off these pieces. That way I have a little bit better visual of what I'm doing. I'm going to slide this in. Now I'm going to make sure my tail part hangs off, and I'm going to slide up my banner die a lot further up. And you can kind of feel when the die drops into place. Kind of, I don't want to say clicks in, but you can feel that it has dropped in. So you just want to slide that up to the length you want. Put your top plate back in. And we're going to run this through as well. There we go, got it started. Now you could cut it. I'm not even going to go all the way to the banner tail. Come right back out. You could just use your paper cutter and cut the extra length. But what you won't end up with are these softer corners. So I'm just going to pull that off a little. It did, probably should have gone just slightly further. Bring in a pair of scissors and you could just snip it off. And there you go. So now you can see that I ended up with a much larger banner than what the actual banner is. So that is how I cut the longer banner. Move this out of the way real quick. And get myself back into frame here. So that's how I did that one, because it was a bit shorter. So this is going to line up here. I have a really cute title that I'm excited to use. This is going to come here, and this is going to come here. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit more gray, so I can bring some here over to the side. I chose to cut out some mats from my photos. So these photos are all true to size. These are 3x4s with the white border and 4x6s. So these I cut I want to say it's 1/8 of an inch larger. That way I have just a very, very small gray border on all of my photos. I wanted to bring that in. And this is, so this one obviously is a little bit smaller. So this one I will need to cut down. I do remember now when I printed those out, it just didn't look right. So a couple of these are a touch smaller. So I'll trim those down. But I wanted to bring in that Smokey slate. I do know that these should all be correct. Yes, 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 yes. And it just gives it a little, just brings that color over. So you know, have it from the left to the right. So get those all lined up. And I have some very cute, very simple embellishments to go with it. And so this is what I'm thinking will be basically the layout. And I'm very excited to share my title with you. Let me cut down these, correct my my mats. Let me cut those back down and fix them to the right size. And let me adhere the papers and my little trim down, and we can get to embellishing. I cut down my mats to the correct size. So like I said, this one is a 4x6. This photo with the white mat is just a little bit over 5 1/2, so 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, it looks like. So that one's a little bit tinier. This one is a 6, but I think, no, that one's still, I must have just cut the mat too big. So that is also a 4x6. This is my banner for my title. And what I was thinking initially, I did cut out another white banner, one size larger, using the same method that I just showed to elongate it. But I'm not too sure. I think with the white, it's just a little bit too much. But we will see once I lay out my title. I definitely can cut down my little trim piece here. I'm going to bring in my embellishments. I created a bunch of embellishments out of the, it's called Beautiful Butterflies. So it's a Stampin' Die set, and I cut out this very large one. I did it a couple of times. So I did it in pink and white, and then in white and pink. And the reason being, this actually was rather tedious, but you have the outline die. So I cut out the outline, then I cut out one in white and then one in pink. So I have a pink outline, a white outline, and then the detail. And I just went back and forth and I just filled in all the cutout pieces into the holes. So I have a white with a pink and a pink with a white. So thought that was very, very cute. And then from the same set, I cut out a couple of these butterflies. I did also in mustache here. Can't see it right now. I did do a little sideways, but this is a second generation stamping. And if you're not familiar with that, let me bring that in real quick. And second generation stamping, I thought I had a piece of paper here. I actually did that in the strawberry slush. So when you were to stamp it initially, straight, full strength, I have one in here, comes out really, really bold. It's strawberry slush. But when you do a second generation, which means you stamp the stamp, pull this out of the way here, one time, I'm going to go sideways so I have enough room, and then without re-inking, you're going to stamp it again, and you're going to get a lighter impression. So it looks very much like Pretty in Pink to me. So I thought that worked really well. Some people even do a third generation. So you really, really can get a light color. I think it works really great with your darker colors. So just a little stamp chamois to clean that up, because those darker pinks, they will stain your stamps. So let me move that out of the way here, and we can start bringing in some of the embellishments. Put my photo back over here. I haven't adhered anything down because I am going to possibly tuck a few things underneath just in case. So I am going to do, I'm not sure, pink or white on either side, but I did do coordinating colors. So in fact, I think I want to do the gray on this side. Bring in a little gray. So this is the Spotlight on Nature dies, and that's the one that has all those different circle dies. So that is a great, great die set. So I did that in the gray, and then this is just white willow. I just have to make sure, actually I'm going to cut underneath that photo to elongate my embellishment there. So I'm going to do one of each on each side. Bring that back into camera a little bit closer. Here's my little sideways. I got a couple sideways butterflies, and I thought I was just going to run them kind of up the side. Just super simple, nothing crazy. I stamped some out of vellum, so I just wanted that little bit of extra something there, but not super, in your face, so to speak. So I'm going to put a couple on each side along with a vellum. And then on this side, I'm just going to do a little tiny small cluster, I think, at the top with a full view butterfly and then one of these little sideways guys. So I think that would be very cute. And then based on Erin's sketch, I'm going to mimic these banners with my little cluster there, my butterflies. I did cut out a little tab. This is an old Stampin' Up! Tab punch. I am going to, I'm going to have to probably lift just a little, but I want to tuck that underneath there and have the top, because it's folded, the top piece coming over the top there. And then I punched out, oops, my title is is in here as well, these really pretty just leaves, just foliage, I thought that would be really cute in the vellum. It gives it a little extra without it being too noticeable. So I did just one for each side. Let's tuck one on each side. I thought that would give it just a little bit something something. Butterflies can be adjusted. And I am stuck. And just this one over here, which will come over the top of that, but under the butterfly. A lot of moving parts, a lot of moving parts. So that's basically it. And so I also have my title here. So I use the mini alphabet, which is that one that is all the alphabet on one die. And then the tall skinny one is alphabet a la mode. So I'm just going to mix the two together, and I went with a title, bear with me, sorry, Sugar and Spice and Fairy Lights. So I thought that was kind of cute, being creative. So I'm going to lay those little guys out and just get them all situated. So this was such a fun room makeover my daughter and I did. We actually my son and granddaughter live in Illinois, and my daughter and I, we flew out for just a week, and we literally did all the painting, the furniture repaint. I mean, it was crazy, but we got it all done in a week. So we were very, very excited. I think my granddaughter really liked it. It was about 5.5 years ago. So it's been a while, but I just thought it was just so cute. So I'm going to do Sugar and Spice in the mini alphabet. And then I have an ampersand in the alphabet a la mode for and. And then try to get these put together really quick. But there we go. And bring them just down just to all fit. So I just absolutely love this alphabet a la mode. I use it so very often. Oh, that is an L, not an I. Here we go. And if I can spell, we will all be good. I'm missing a T. Oh, no, there it is. I see it. Got them all. So exciting. I always seem to lose one somewhere along the way. So that's going to be my title. Again, like I said, I'm not too sure about this second banner. It just seems like a little bit too much. You know, these are going to all move, but I don't know. Let me adhere down my embellishments and my title to my banner, and let me see if I feel I need to add this other piece. I'm going to ink it up, and maybe that'll help tie it in. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. All of my embellishments are adhered down. I did the little slice behind here so that I could bring my little embellishment, little trim, all the way out to the corners. I did the same over on the side. I cut it underneath the photo. I really like the way this, let me lift it up real quick, the vellum leaves add just a little something without adding too much, because there's such contrast between the pink and the white and the gray. And I added a couple little butterflies up here and a couple of sentiment strips that I created. I adhered down all of my my title. Really happy how that came out. I did decide to put it on the white. I inked up the edges of the white with some Smokey Slate. So I'm really happy with the way that came out. Added some bling. I'll bring those in a second here to the center of these little tiny butterflies. And mainly I did that because when I adhered them down, my adhesive has a blue hue to it, and you could see it through the vellum obviously. So these are the basic gray and Smokey Slate pearls. Those are really cute. I'm going to bring a few more of those in just a second, but I wanted to add just a little bit more, just a little embellishment there to my title. I'm just going to bring in another butterfly here. And oops, I'm gonna squeeze in the little half one, which makes me feel good that way. I feel like I've used up pretty much all of the embellishments I created because sometimes I over create. So let me just bring in a little piece of paper to do my vellum. So this little vellum piece here, along with these here, are from the Painted Lavender. Let me see here. It is, oopsies, just lost one. But it's a bunch of dies, and which cut out the stamps. But it's a lavender. So if you wanted to build a scene or so, it's actually very pretty. So I thought that was pretty. This is just a smaller one since I just want to tuck it here behind this little guy here. Oops, there he goes. I didn't think it needed that really large one, but I wanted it still to have something. So maybe just a little lower. And I want to tuck him behind there. So like that. So I think that is very cute. Like I said, I want to bring in a little bit more of the bling. I did do the bodies with the lighter color. I'd like to bring a couple in there, but I actually only have one small one left. I might bring, oh yeah, no, these ones are actually a little tinier. So I'm just going to bring in just maybe two up here for that butterfly, and then just sprinkle a few around the clusters. I like the silver with it ties in so well with this gray, coordinates so well. So, and just a couple down here. Let's see, we'll put one up here. And maybe just one on each side of that one. And just, I like to work in numbers of 3. I like odd. I think that looks well. And then I'm just going to bring in just a couple more on this side, and I think that's pretty much it. What I did realize once I was adhering everything down, I didn't leave a space for my journaling. And I do have stuff I want to say about this because it was actually quite a lot of fun. So what I think I'm going to do after the fact, I will pull this picture up. Hopefully I can get it up with my spatula, and I'll tuck it into a flip flap, and I'll do my journaling behind. So it gives me plenty of room to do all of my journaling because, like I said, I really do want to remember having done this. So, but let me bring it in real quick. Get a little closer look at those, the little bling, those dots there, and my butterflies. I will list everything I used down below in the description in case there's anything that you are interested in. And if you liked the video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, that would be great. Really helps my channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed, if you don't mind clicking the subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.